Hi. We're going to begin and go over our week 8. Week 8? Yes, week 8, third person, introduce third person personal pronouns, auta, saute, auta. And I'm recording this instead of doing it live because this evening I have some things I need to take care of, and I didn't want to cancel the class, so I want to go ahead and record it for you. And if you review it, if you have any questions, you want to email me, then we'll respond that way. Or you want to give me a call or a text, we can work that. But we'll do review chapter 11. We'll go into an introduction in chapter 12 with third person personal pronouns, and then next week we'll meet and we'll introduce chapter 13, demonstrative pronouns. So let me go ahead and pull up my PowerPoint and do a share screen. Before we do, let's do a prayer. Father in heaven, we thank you for another day in this earth, another opportunity to gather together from remote locations, different times, to study your word, the original language, in the Koine Hellenistic Greek. We thank you for those whose desire is to draw closer, to learn more of your word, that they may draw closer in understanding. Provide them, each of us, wisdom, and provide, Father, each of us strength and courage to continue in our study, and courage to present it in a manner that is pleasing to you, and that help others to understand your word and draw closer to them. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. So let me go ahead and do a share screen here for okay. Okay, you should be able to see our screen. Let me get back up to the beginning now. I was at the end. All right, back at the beginning where we started. So we started last week with personal pronouns. We focused on first person, ego. And matter of fact, let me go ahead and use I think I'm going to use my pen here. I'm trying to get better with this pen. It's not like writing with a real pen, but I've seen others do it, and it works so much better for them. I don't know why I can't get it done. Let me, let's see if I can't. For now, I'll use the pointer here. Okay, so ego is the first person pronoun, and then su, the second person pronoun. And then we're going to learn later today, here in the next few minutes, auto, saute, auta, the third person. Now, as we said with ego, I'll touch on that later. So this is what we focused on last week in chapter 11, today, chapter 12. We'll do demonstratives, which are hutos, haute, tuta, next week. That is this, that, these, or those. And then relative pronouns, it was, I think, in chapter 14, the week afterwards. We've already done relatives, be who, he, him, who, yeah. And so we'll look at that in chapter 14. The interrogative pronouns are tis, t. You've already seen this in the vocabulary words. These would refer to which, who. This interrogative, you're asking a question. So what, which, who, those kind of things. The indefinite pronoun looks like the same word, but it's without the accent. And so this is indefinite, meaning it's not definite, it's indefinite. So it's someone, so that's not definite, you don't know who it is. It's indefinite, someone, certain one, anyone. Those are indefinite English pronouns. So tis, t, without the accent mark. Reflective, one of the vocabulary words, reflexive, hematu, meaning himself, herself, itself. Intensive, which we'll actually get in chapter 12 today, is the exact same thing as our third person personal pronouns, autos, aute, auto. And that, of course, can also be function as an intensifier, which we'll touch on in a moment. And then reciprocal, alle l'un, one of our vocabulary words, meaning one another. Notice the genitive, omega nu, and the plural, so it's one another. Let's see if I can go to the next slide. Okay, as a review in pronouns, English, pronouns replaces the noun. Give it to me. Well, it and me are both pronouns. They refer back to its antecedent, that is referring back to it is something, maybe it's the book or maybe it's the pen. So give it to me, whatever it might be referring back to. So you have to look at previous sentence or clause and find what it is antecedent is. Me is, of course, the direct object. Actually, it's functioning as the indirect object. Here's the to me, and so we'll or in the accusative, me, and personal pronouns. I wish I had learned Hebrew instead of Greek. Well, I is functioning in the nominative case. It's pointing back. So I guess what I'm trying to refresh our memory on is that when you think about the personal pronoun, it's functioning in its function its case is determined by its function. So here it's functioning as the subject. So its case is going to be the nominative, I. And so its case is determined by its function. However, its gender, and if there's its number, and if there's a gender, is determined by its antecedent. Its person is first, second, or third. Its gender and number, its number and gender, is determined by its antecedent, what it's pointing back to, whether it's pointing back to something that's plural, something that's singular. If there's a first and second person, well, there's a first person for first and second pronouns, but there is no gender. There's no he, she, or masculine, feminine, neuter. Greek is very much the same. You have first person and second person. And the first person is subjective, such as functioning as a subject, I or you in the second person. Possessive, my or your. Objective would be the direct object or indirect object. Indirect, you'd have the helping words in, to, or with, or something of this nature. So accusative would be, and the direct object would be me or you. Indirect object would add the helping words to me, with you, in you. The plural, same thing. Subjective, functioning as a subject, the we, the you. Possessive, showing possession, are or yours in the second person. And the first person for the objective, whether it be the direct object or indirect object, is us or you in the second person. Greek is the same. Its function its case is determined by its function. You would not say me will eat now, or you normally would say I will eat now, because the case would be the nominative case, would be the subject. Here, me is a accusative case. So it would not function as a subject. So the case is determined by how it's functioning in the sentence. Its number and person is determined by its antecedent. My name is Dave. Well, I like to teach Greek. I is the antecedent of Dave. And there's no gender for first or second person pronouns. And so we went over last week the personal pronouns for first and second. Again, there's no gender. There's no masculine, feminine, or neuter for first and second. There is for third. And the nominative case, functioning as a subject for the first person, ego, meaning I, or su, meaning you. And then we looked at the singular, genitive, dative, and accusative, mu, moi, me, and meaning my, or to me, or me. And we notice that there's an emu, moi, emme, making it emphatic, that is adding some emphasis, normally a contrast, adding some sort of emphasis, I, not meaning not you, or me, or mine, meaning not yours. So there's normally emphasis that doesn't come across very well in English. The Greek brings it out with adding the epsilon before it for the first person. In the plural, we have hemes, hemon, hemin, hemos. Notice it's a rough breathing. For the first person, it's the eta. And this is a little different for your nominative plural, but you're used to the omega nu for the genitive plural, the iota with sometimes a movable nu, but not in this case, for the dative plural, and the omicron sigma, the omicron, especially for the omicron sigma for third declension, for the accusative plural. So hemes, we, hemon, are, hemin, to us, or with us, or in us, hemos, us, being in its direct object form. The second person, very similar. Su is the second person, meaning you, you as an individual. And then su without the accent mark, meaning your, that's the genitive singular. Soy in the dative singular, to you, or with you, or in you. Se, meaning you in the accusative or the direct object function. Hemes, well, let me point out here also, now we had the emphatic emu and the moi and me in the first person, and we noticed that they did not add the epsilon. And what I forgot to bring out last week, I think I forgot to bring it out, is that there is a difference, though, between su and su, emphatic su versus a regular su. And notice the accent mark. And the accent mark, that is going to give you the difference, or show you that it's functioning with an emphatic purpose. So it looks like the same, but it includes the accent mark. So it is here, it is your, but here it's your in contrast to, say, mine. To you, or to you, some emphasis there. And you versus you, generally in contrast to me or them or something of that nature. Hemes, hemon, hemin, hemos. Again, it's you, your, to you, or you. We saw the pattern last week with the hemes, humes, hemon, humon, hemin, humin, hemos, humos, in which they're all rough breathings, but we move from the eta with the rough breathing to the upsilon with the rough breathing, and then we're in the second person, being you in the nominative subject case, your in the plural, or plural, this is also plural for the nominative case, your in the plural genitive, giving possession. So it's not just your individual, it's your as some group or more than one. To you, with you, in you, not you singular, but you plural. Heumos, you plural. It's difficult in English to differentiate the yous and yours, singular or plural. In English, we know this you is functioning as the direct object when it comes after the verb. This you is functioning as the subject when it comes before the verb. In Greek, that's not the case. We're looking for su versus se, and that will tell us how it's functioning in a sentence. So hopefully that's reasonably clear for you. A little time, and the more practice, the more you see it, the more you get comfortable with that. And now for our homework from chapter 11, let's go over that. And let's see if I can write this. Let me go and change to pen. And good luck to me. Okay, so case soy. Notice the iota ending. So we are dealing with the dative case. And this is in the singular. And this is, there is no gender at all. And so its lexical form, I mean, it comes from su. And it's inflected meaning, in other words, how it's being used over here. And it's going to be to you. I know what's wrong with this is I have to hold this button down while I'm writing. That's what makes it so difficult. I wonder if there's a way to write without holding it down, or probably not. All right, well, we'll just, I may do this differently. I think I might. Well, we'll see. Okay, so get rid of that. All right, so who mean, there's my dative, and because it's the who, it's second person, so it's, well, this is first person here, so it's first person singular. We can go first, singular. This is second, singular. And this is going to be in the dative case also, because I have my iota right there, and there's no gender for it. And it is, its lexical form is going to be the su, because we're dealing with the second person. And the meaning will be to you. Let's do my ditto marks here. Ditto. To you. And what else do I want to point out? I think that's it. Pistin. Pistin being the accusative. And it is in the singular. Its gender is, of course, feminine. Pistis is from a feminine word with the ada, hey, for its article. So it's from pistis. It's hard to do this. I gotta find a better way to do this. This is not working. It's a terrible towel. Pistis, and its inflected meaning, of course, is going to be in its function in the accusative, so it's just going to be faith or belief, depending on the context. Okay, se, as we just saw, is in the accusative case. Come on, Ben, get back to where I want you. There we go. In the accusative case, it is in the, its number is going to be second person. It is singular. It is no gender, and its lexical form is a su, so we're moving forward with the same thing, and it, of course, means you. And patras, there we have, is the father, meaning in the genitive case with the omicron sigma. I'll come right at you. There we go. It is the singular. It is, the gender is going to be masculine, and it's pater. I think I spelled that right. No, that has the eta. It has the eta instead. Pater, with the accent mark there. And it is the meaning father, of course, or of father. We want to put our inflected meaning with the of. I don't know if it's a capital father or just, you know, like my dad, F-A-T-H, father, F-A-T-H-E-R, right? You spell father. Humes, okay, this is a second person because of the upsilon right there. There's my nominative singular, so I know it's nominative. It is second person. It is singular. It is no gender, and it's from su again. And it is, of course, meaning you in the subject form. Hudata, where's my pen at? There we go. That is, of course, in the accusative case, or actually the accusative or nominative case. Remember the alpha and ending case is for the third declension words. See, there's my consonant. Third declension words, the alpha can be either the nominative or the accusative. So it is going to be plural. Oh, I just noticed that that's not singular. This should be plural. You guys should have corrected me. That was a joke. Plural. And it is, of course, going to be, I think it's a neuter word. Yep. Just put net. And its lexical form is hudor, rough breathing, accent, delta, omega, rho, hudor. And I feel like I'm in first grade trying to write. And because it's plural, okay, we want to make it waters. And Hemos, well, this is the first person. Where's my pen? Come on back. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. There's my first person with the eta, rough breathing, and this is the accusative form of it. And so we've got accusative, and it is in the plural form. There's no gender to it. Excuse me, it's first person plural. And it is, of course, from ego. And it, of course, means me. Pistis is going to be in the nominative. Nominative, not, there we go. There's my nominative ending right there. But it could also be in the accusative case. And it is in plural form. It has gender is feminine, as we already saw. Pistis up here is its lexical form, and its meaning is faith plural. Faith plural. Emu, well, now we have the emphatic with the epsilon. So it is, this actually can be two times. It could be, well, it's genitive. It could be singular. Well, it is singular. It is first person singular. But it can be in the, with no, of course, no gender. But we'll leave it at that. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that for now. Its emphatic form is hemos. Hemos, smooth breathing. It is, no, echo. Yeah. Can't write. Ego, smooth breathing. There we go. Accent mark. And it means my. So hopefully you're reasonably comfortable with that. Give me a call, questions, and we'll work it out together. Let me see if I can clear this. Good. Next slide. Okay, so we're doing the translations or the warm-ups here. Again, we want to look for, and there's, for me, I just want to break out wherever the prepositional phrases are, any of the clauses, so I can focus on this main sentence first. And generally it makes it so much easier because I could figure that one out pretty quick. We haven't done verbs yet, so eneka, I brought, and this is ton, weon. Notice they're both in the accusative, and then my, it's going towards ton, weon. So my son. So I brought, in English, here's my subject. It's embedded in the verb. I brought my son, and then this would be an accusative, to you. Se. Here's our accusative. Accusative, how about that? So I brought my son to you. Try it with my mouse, see if it'll be easier. Okay. All right, so again, let's see, there's my nominative, ha kurios. Mu is the second person genitive, a first person genitive, modifying kurios. So ha kurios, my Lord. And God, there's also the accusative, or the accusative nominative. I did say this is nominative, right? Nominative, genitive, modifying that. Here's my nominative, God, and my, modifying God, or attributing God. So my Lord and my God. Okay, so here's the son in the nominative, sons plural, I think it is. Yes, it's plural. See my nominative plural right there. And then I have the genitive of tu patros, and here's my genitive plural for humon. And so this is our second person plural genitive, so it is our, your, excuse me, your sons of your father. So this is in the genitive case, so sons of your father. Here's my preposition, epi, in the dative. I go into te, piste, to anamatos autu. So this is the genitive here, a genitive singular. This is the genitive case. For the third declension, there's my consonant ending, stem ending, and autu is modifying the name, his name. So there's my possessive. This is in his name. We haven't done third person, so I don't know why that's here. So his name, and epi in the dative is on the basis of or at. So this would be on the basis of faith, or on the basis of faith of his name. So it would be on the basis of faith of his name, or in his name, because in faith, the basis of faith in his name. Okay, tois, lagois is my dative plural. Tes pisteos, genitive, and kai, tes kales, there's my genitive, and didaskalais, laios, and so that's in the genitive as well. So where do I want to start? Let's see. Here we have two words, plural, of faith. So two with or in words of faith. So two words of faith, and so we have tes kales didaskalais, laios. So this is, if you remember back in chapter 9 when adjectives, here's an adjective, kalos, it's from kalos, and I guess I should try to write it. Well, I can't. Kalos, it's terrible. It's bad. I feel so bad. Okay, it's one of our vocabulary words, I think from this chapter or last chapter, meaning beautiful or good. In this case, good is probably a better translation. So, and good is modifying. Here we have teaching. And so this is, if you remember our chapter 9 adjectives. Well, kalos here is an adjective. It is in the first attributive position. It is attributing something. This kalos is attributing something to the teaching. It's good teaching. And I know it's first attributive position. Number one, it has the article with it. And two, and there's no article with the noun, but also the article adjective comes before or is positioned before the noun. That makes it the first attributive position. It's worth knowing that because you'll see it often, and it helps you to recognize some other things that have come up later. So two words of faith and good teaching. Here we're told they greet aspanzantai. They greet humas. So second person, because I have the upsilon with the rough breathing here instead of the eta. Humas, there's my accusative. And here is my high ecclesiae. Well, that's in the nominative plural case. And so this is nominative, this is accusative. This is not modifying that. It's accusative, it's standalone right here. And pasai, this is in the dative, or excuse me, nominative plural. It's modifying. It's from pas, the adjective. It's modifying high ecclesiae. So this is all the churches or assemblies. All the churches. That's the subject. And here's my verb, they greet. Well, who's the they? All the churches. So it would be, I don't need to say they greet. I need to say all the churches greet who? They greet you. You being in the second person plural. There it is, and it's an accusative. So I know it's functioning as the direct object because it's in the accusative. So when I translate it in English, it's going to come after the verb, the greet. So all the churches greet you. Uk echo andra. Okay, so andra is going to be my subject. It's in the nominative case. Echo is my verb, I have, and then I got not. I have not something. Well, what do I have not? This is in the, the accusative case. What does I not have? Well, I have not a man, or andra can also mean, andros can also mean husband. So I have not husband, a husband. So to smooth it out, we'd probably say, I do not have a husband. Ego elelutha ento anamati to patros or patros mu. All right, couple things. There's my verb, elelutha, and that means I have come, but it's preceded by ego. Well, the verb has embedded in it the I, but this ego is making it an emphasis. Now, that doesn't come across in English, but in Greek, what it's saying is I have come, in contrast to somebody else coming. I have come for what? What have I come for? What did this person come for? Well, here's my preposition in, to nomati. Well, that's all in the dative case. In the name, onomati, or onomati is the name. And this is the dative case to, patros, and mu, modifying the father. So I have come in the name of my father. I love this stuff. I hope you guys get into it. It's fun. Kai kalkometha, we rejoice. Kai kalkometha ep LPD taste daxes tus deu. Kai kalkometha ep LPD taste daxes tu deu. Well, we have the verb kometha, kalkometha, we rejoice. Kai is and we rejoice. And then we have the prepositional phrase epi, LPD. And so we have tes, doxes, tu theu. The epi, LPD, epi in the dative, as we said before, and this is in the dative. We see the dative ending here for LPD, hope. Epi, and this is with the apostrophe because it came before the iota drops out because it comes before the vowel. There's a word preceding or coming after it with a vowel. It begins with a vowel. And so this is, and the epi is either on the basis of or at. So we rejoice at or on the basis of hope. What? In the genitive case, tes, doxes, genitive case, of the glory, genitive case, of God. We rejoice on the basis of hope or at hope of the glory of God. Haste, notice the rough breathing. Haste gar estin, humon ha didaskalos, or didaskalos, ho didaskalos, either way. Pantes de humes aldelphoi este. All right, let's go slow. We have our post-positive word gar. Where's my pen? Come back, pen. Gar. So that's going to be our post-positive. Post-positive means it's never, in Greek, it will never be the first in the sentence, but when we translate it in English, it will be, generally speaking. So it is for one. That is the one, not into. It's not ace, it's haste with the rough breathing. It is estin is our third person singular is. For one is your. This is the second person genitive form plural. Second person plural genitive. For one is your, and here's my nominative. One is your teacher. Didaskalos or didaskalos. One is your teacher. But, another post-positive. It could be but or and. But, this is a nominative plural, nominative plural, nominative plural. And this is a third person plural verb from eimi, este. This is the from eimi, third person singular, third person plural. So for one is your teacher, but all, let's see, all are, this is the are, third person plural, all are your, all are brothers. Okay, but all are, it's not possessive, that's, so it's not possessive, that is, seems like it should be. Nominative plural, plural, nominative plural, nominative plural. Let me see how I translate that. All are, all right, let's think about it. All right, so I have, okay, I know what it is. I have this state of verb from eimi. I have a nominative plural and a nominative plural. And so basically this is going to, one of them is going to be a predicate nominative. So this is but, and normally the rule is the pronoun takes the first position, but you are all brothers. So that's how it would read. But you are all brothers. And I do that, know that only because I have all these nominatives. This adjective is going to modify something, okay? So it's either going to modify you all, so but you all are brothers. That could be. Let's see, the plural. It's closest to it, so it's probably would go with that. Let me see if I can pause recording here for a minute because I need to. Well, it's not going to let me pause recording. Hey. Yeah. I'm in class right now. Can I call you right back? Give me a few minutes. All right, bye. I'm sorry about that. I guess while I'm actually sharing, I can't pause recording. I have to stop sharing. So, this is for this. What we're looking at. Where's my pen again? There we go. This all, whose is an adjective, who's just modifying. Well, I believe it's modifying on positive. It's modifying who makes. You all, or all of you. It wouldn't be all of you because I'd be putting in the genitive then. So you all, but you all are brothers. And I know that predominantly because the Pontes is closest to humes. And actually, for to modify that, I have to skip over that, and I don't think that would not be the norm. So Pontes modifies humes, and we have but you all are brothers. Now, I know that you are brothers in that order, because if we remember our predicate from chapter, what chapter was that? Let me give it to you. I think it's chapter 9. We did adjectives. Yeah. One of the ways, if you go back to chapter 9 on page, let's see, on page, page 67, you can see when the recognition of the adjective, when the article is present, it talks about it functioning in the attributive position, which is not the case. It talks about on the next page, 68, substantival position, which is not the case, and then predicative position, which is the case. And that is where you have the noun and an adjective where, in this case, we're given the verb este, but in 68 it's not given, so it is a predicate position where the two nominatives, one of them is going to function as the predicate. Predicate, remember, is the verb, and anything after the verb is the predicate clause or the predicate phrase, the predicate, and so our brothers is the predicate. If you go back to page 68, that's what I was going to show you. That's what it was. Let's see, where's that? It gives the per subject. Maybe it's in advanced information. Positions. I can't remember where it shows you, but the precedence of order. Oops, the next chapter of when you know, it's in one of these, I thought it was in the exegesis or in the, maybe we'll check the next chapter. That's chapter 10. End of chapter 10. Nope. It's not what I was looking for. Well, I can't remember, and I have to find where it is, where it's located, but it gives you precedence. precedents when to on the predicate position, and one of them is that when there is a I think it's in one of the exegesis or the advanced information sections. I just don't remember what chapter that is in. Maybe we haven't got to it yet, but I thought we had. But anyway, when it's the pronoun will be the subject. A pronoun and the will be the subject, and the noun, with or without an article, will be the predicate. And so that's how I know it's you all are brothers. So the you comes before the as a subject, and the Delphoi is functioning as the predicate nominative. That's a long way to say that. I apologize. So hopefully I didn't confuse everybody. Let me just make sure I clean this up a little bit and then restate it. Okay, so for one is your teacher, but or and you all, that's y'all, speaking Greek and Southern Greek, you all are brothers. And we know the order because Pontes, nominative, plural, humes, nominative, plural, Aldelphoi, nominative, plural, ested, nominative, plural. There's my state of verb from ami, state of being, there's no action. And Pontes is modifying humes, it's closest to it. And humes is the subject because it's functioning as a pronoun, and it will take precedence over Aldelphoi, the noun. And so it's you are brothers. Add the adjective, but you all are brothers. Hopefully that helps. All right, next one. A long sentence, not too difficult though when you break it down pretty easily. Edu, behold, look, see, behold. There's a nominative, mater. There's a genitive you that's modifying mater, so that's your mother. And there's a nominative, hoi adelphoi, so and genitive you, su, second person genitive, your brothers. And edu he pater su kai hoi eldelphoi su kai hai eldelpha edela. Is that right? Edela? Yeah, I think I'm missing the theta here. I think I misspelled that. That's supposed to have that theta right there, right here. Kai hai adelphi su, yeah, I'm positive. Exo zetusin se. We'll finish this sentence first. Edu he pater su, behold your mother and your brothers. And then some manuscripts have inserted or have included, and your sisters. We know now these are plural, brothers plural, mother singular, but sisters, there's a nominative feminine plural. So that's why we know it's kai hai. There's a nominative plural feminine article, kai hai aldelphi, and again, second person genitive modifying aldelphi. So behold your mother and your brothers and your sisters. And then exo is an adverb that means without, but also functions as a preposition, meaning outside. And so exo, and see, they gave us this, they seek zetusin, third person plural, they seek, and there's my second person accusative, the se, so it's functioning as the direct object. So behold your mother and your brothers and your sister, outside they seek you. Well, outside they seek you, or they seek you because they seek you outside is probably the more appropriate one. Outside they seek you, but I think I'd rephrase that too. They seek you. They is my subject. Seek is the verb. they seek you. And then XO is simply functioning adverbially, and so it's modifying they seek. Well, what are they seeking? They're seeking you where? Outside. Then the next sentence, kai apokrites, answering. Kai apokrites, autois lege, he, she, it says, tis esten, he mater mu kai hadelphoi mu. We'll stop right here. Notice the question mark. Okay, so, and we're told this, answering autois. There's a dative, plural, and so answering to them, or answering them to make it simple, and this verb is a third person singular, he says. In answering them, he says, okay, here's my interrogative pronoun, tis, meaning, because it's a question, it's going to be, we're interrogating. What is, or who, probably better, because we're dealing with people, who is my mother and my brothers, plural. Okay? Behold, he meter mu kai hoi adelphoi mu. Behold, or look, or see, my mother, singular, and my brothers, plural. So behold my mother and my brothers. Here's a relative pronoun, which we'll do 2 weeks from now, I think. Whose, who. Okay, gar, a postpositive. For, that would, in our English translation, we'll go here. For who, and then the on, that's an indeclinable, untranslatable particle, and it basically makes something definite, indefinite. So instead of saying who, we'd say whoever. For whoever does, he, she, it does, whoever does the will, genitive, of Father, the will of God, excuse me, not Father. Whoever does the will of God, hutos, there's a demonstrative pronoun, this one, and so we'll do that next week. This one, my brother, this modifying brother, this is a nominative singular, and sister and mother, and here's the verb that we're looking for. So this one is my brother and sister and mother. Long sentence, but you break it into pieces. It's just not that complicated, but you've got to break it down into little pieces. Any clauses or phrases, try to mark them out or separate them so you can focus on the main point of the sentence and then add those clauses in. Let's see now. Okay, I think this is the last one. Uk, meaning not, a me, there's the verb I am. Eleutheros, free, I am free. And this is a question mark. So this says literally not I am free. Well, we got to make it into a question and make it smooth in English, but literally in Greek, not am I free. What's the question? Well, am I not free? Question. Am I not an apostle? Question. And here's a little different. Not, and this is the accusative, see the new, not Jesus, accusative, Lord, our Lord. There's a first person genitive, modifying Lord. Here's our verb for that clause, heoraka, I have seen. So I got my verb here. I have I. So, and this, I don't really have a stated subject, but I have an implied or subject in the verb. I have seen, not Jesus our Lord. Well, the question would be is, have I not seen, have I not seen Jesus our Lord? And that's now the question. And of course, it's a rhetorical questioning, and the answer, of course, is yes, I have. And then we have the last part of the clause, the question. Again, I got another question. If I could circle it. I'm beginning to think it's funny, not sad. Well, it is sad. There's not work in the accusative case. My work, it's modifying the work. Who makes, there's my second person, is functioning in the nominative case. So this is the subject, plural, second person, plural, nominative. So you is my subject in this my prepositional phrase in Lord, or in the Lord. Let's see, not, let's see, so you, not work, let's see, in the Lord. Got to make it into a question, and it would be, accusative, so that's going to be, if I'm writing it out, it makes it easier when I start writing it rather than doing it in my head. So, but I don't think I can type with, unless I get out of the, I can't type unless I get out of the share screen, or get out of the presentation mode. Not work. So I'm not giving the verb. I wonder if I didn't copy it, but maybe implied. Are you, there's my subject, are you, I got to make it into question, and it's plural, so I'm going to use are you not my work in the Lord? That works. Am I not free? Am I not an apostle? Have I not seen Jesus our Lord? Are you, right there, are you not my work in the Lord? I think that works. All right, now we move to third person personal pronoun. This should be familiar with you. We're going to do the same thing. The difference is that in third person, there is gender in the singular, not in the plural. Now, as a first person and the second person personal pronouns, there was no gender. In the third person plural, there's still no gender. But in the singular, there is gender. So we have nominative, or excuse me, masculine, feminine, and neuter. In the subjective, meaning functioning as a subject, he, she, or it. Possessive, giving possession, his, her, or its. Masculine, feminine, neuter. Objective, being direct object or indirect object with our helping words to, with, or in. As a direct object, him, her, or it. Masculine, feminine, neuter. Indirect object, to him, with him, her, to him, with him, in him, to, with, in her, to, with, and it. But in the plural, again, subjective, possessive, and objective, functioning as this subject, functioning as possession, functioning as a direct object or indirect object. It would be they, their, or them. No gender. All right, so we've already done the first and second. Hopefully you're pretty familiar with it. Now, the third person is going to follow this pattern. A second, we call it a 2-1-2 pattern. See, two, first, second declension, first declension, second declension. That's the pattern. Second declension, masculine, first declension, feminine, second declension, neuter. This should be very familiar. There's nothing new in this pattern. I don't think anything is new, except maybe here, because normally there'd be a new there. I'll talk about that in a moment. But here's my Omicron Upsilon, Eta Sigma, Omicron Upsilon, following the same pattern before. My subscript iota under the omega, subscript iota under the eta, subscript iota under the omega, iota under the omega. Same pattern. Ton, tain, ta, although normally this is different. There would normally be a ton, tain, ton. Hoi, how tai, Altai, not rough breathing, smooth. Altoi, altai, alta. Alton, alton, alton. Altois, altas, altais, altois. Altus, altas, alta. I start reading ahead and I mix the words up. This new here in our normal pattern would have the new ending here and here, but for the just like the article, the new drops. I can't explain why. I'm sure there's a reason. I haven't researched it to find out. I just know that this follows that same pattern as the article, and this follows the same pattern as all the other nouns and adjectives that we learned. And so there's nothing new here at all. Second declension masculine, first declension feminine, second declension neuter. There's almost nothing new. So he, she, it, his, her, its, to him, with him, in him, her or it, him, her or it is my accusative. They in the plural, their in the plural genitive, and to them, with them, in the dative plural, and them in the accusative plural. So nothing new to learn. You should not have any trouble with this because it follows the same patterns, all our nouns and as our article, all of which you should be comfortable, reasonably comfortable with, well, at least by now. Talk a little bit about how it's used, though. Now, this is different. Okay, so a third person personal pronoun can function as a third person personal pronoun as he, she, it, or they in the nominative case. He, she, it, or they will see God. Can also function in the genitive case as their or his or hers or its and those kind of things. The same with in the accusative case with him. What's not him, but she, yeah, and it, and then in the accusative, and or them in the accusative for plural. So this should be very normal, and you should be very comfortable. Shouldn't have any real problems with that. It also can function as an adjectival intensive, and all that really means normally it's going to be associated with in the nominative case, it's going to be associated with the subject normally. It means it's modifying another word, and typically it's going to be in the predicate position, just like we saw with the adjective in the predicate position. The pronoun, third person pronoun, will agree in case, number, and gender. So instead of this way, the case is actually functioning typically in the nominative case, and its number and gender is going to agree with the subject that it's predicating on. Normally in the predicate position, God himself, the apostle himself, the church herself. So this would be theos, autos. The apostle apostolos, autos. The church ecclesia herself would be autes. So ecclesia aute. And so with the eta ending. So God himself, the apostle himself. So it's intensifying it. It's functioning as an adjective, modifying the noun, but it's intensifying the noun it's modifying. It also can function as an identical adjective. Not as many of these. The more common is, of course, number one. A little less common is the number two, the adjectival intensive, and even less common, number three, is the identical adjective. And then all that is you'll see, here's my preposition, in aute, in the dative case, te hora, that is the hour. In what? In her hour? No, it's dative. In two? No, it's functioning as an adjectival intensive. It's in the same case as the word it's modifying, the noun it's modifying. So in the same hour. And generally it kind of stands out, her or it, none of those will work, and you finally realize, oh, it's modifying this noun during the same case. So it's functioning like an adjective and not like a pronoun. So how would I make it into an adjective? Well, I'm either going to make it as the hour itself. Well, that's not the form. It's not doing that. So the same hour. And basically, experience will help you with that. Let's see. It's on our vocabulary. So that's pretty much in the book. Let's see if there's something I want to go over in the book. Chapter 12. So in chapter 12 on page 101, it talks about the three different uses of autos, the personal pronoun, and goes over the same thing as a subject, direct object, and how the form changes to function as either a direct object or a subject, or as a genitive to give it possession, or in the indirect object. And chapter or page 102, 12.9 talks about the adjectival intensive, where the apostle himself, the gift itself, the church herself, I myself. And on the next page of 103, 1210 speaks to the intensify adjective, where it's David himself, Jesus himself, was not baptizing, but his disciples were, and so forth. You yourself. And then the identical adjective, where it's the same hour, or the same thing, or the same word, these kind of things. And then we've got vocabulary. Is there anything else in here? That's it. We'll do chapter 13 next week. I'm sorry for not meeting you tonight for class. We'll do vocabulary, and then we'll apologize again. Ion is aegis or eternal. Eternal or eternal. Ionos, ha. Didaskalos, teacher. Didaskalou, genitive form. Ha, and so it's a masculine. Ethus, immediately. Mark uses this word a lot, immediately. Heos, it is a conjunction, meaning until. Can function as a preposition, meaning as far as. Heos. Mathetes, being disciple. Mathetu, in the genitive form. Mathetes, ha. The ha is the article showing that it is a masculine. Men, meaning indeed. On the one hand, it's just a particle. Oh, well, that didn't spell right, did it? That should be medes, media, medima. Okay, let me see if I can correct that. I hate that makes me. Well, I can't while I'm doing this. That should be a mu, and it's medes, medemia, medemia, and meden, and it's the no one or no thing. And it's formed from hen being, or mia being one, and then the no. Manos, only or alone. Hupos, being how or in that order. Hosos, or hosos, hosan. It would be as great as, or as many as. Soon is a postpositive, meaning therefore, then. Ophthalmos is eye. Ophthalmos, ophthalmu, ophthalmos, ha, is the eye or sight. Pauline is again. Pus or padus or podos, ha, ho, is foot. And then let's see, huper is in the genitive and behalf of, and the accusative meaning above. And for homework, please do exercise 12, all the parsings, all the warm-ups, and the even number translation. And then we'll do our introduction of chapter 13, demonstrative pronouns, next week. You won't have any trouble with demonstratives. I don't think you'll have any trouble with the third person personal pronouns, other than maybe recognizing when it's using as a pronoun versus as an adjective intensifier, or as an adjective saying. What's it called? Not saying, adjective identical adjective. I'm tired. I apologize for not having class. We'll have class. You'll have it without me. Review the tape. If you have any questions, call me, email me, send me a text, and we'll go back over any of that you might have questions. Next week, we'll pick up chapter 13. Thank you for your time, and God bless you, and we'll see you next week. Let me stop share, and now I can stop recording.